Hello, good morning everyone. So, this is our third week. Our topic this morning is all about Western classical art. But before that, this is our objective. Number 1, identify the characteristics of arts during the different art period. Number 2, show importance of Western classical art in different techniques. Number 3, create simple artwork of Western classical art. So, painting from the prehistorical era. These paintings were found inside the caves, which being their way of communicating with each other. These paintings may be more an artifact of the archaeological evidence than a true picture of humans' first created art. Prehistoric drawings of animals were usually correct in proportion. It was discovered on September 12, 1940, and given statutory historic monument protection. The painting has nearly 2,000 figures, composed mainly of animals, human figures, and abstract design. Some sections have been identified inside the cave, such as the Great Hall of the Bulls, the lateral passage, the shaft of the dead man, the chamber of engravings. So this is the examples of the prehistoric arts. Painting from ancient Egypt. The purpose of Egyptian paintings is to make the deceased afterlife place pleasant. With this in mind, themes include journey to the underworld, introducing the deceased to the gods of the underworld by their protective deities. It emphasizes the importance of life after death and preservation of the knowledge of the past. Most paintings were highly stylized, symbolic, and shows profile view of an animal or a person. The main colors used were red, black, blue, gold, and green, derived from mineral pigments. The painting was the walls of the tomb show events of the life of the king while he is still on earth. So this is the example of their painting. Painting from the classical Greek era. During the classical era were most commonly found in vases, panels, and tombs. Most common methods of Greek painting, fresco. Method of painting water-based pigments on a freshly applied plaster, usually on a wall surface. Colors are made of ground powder pigments mixed in pure water, dried, and set with plaster to become a permanent part of the wall. Encaustic, developed by Greek shipbuilders who used hot wax to fill the cracks of the ship. Pigments or colors were added and used to paint a wax hull. So this is the example of their painting. Base painting, Kirch style. It's also referred to as Kirch bases, a red figured pottery named after the place where it was found. Shape commonly found are pea-like or wine container, licanes, a low bowl horizontal with two horizontal handles and a low broad foot. Libis gamicos, with high handles and lid used to carry bridal pot. Crater, bowl used for mixing wine and water. So this is the example of their painting in the base. Next is panel painting. Paintings on flat panels of wood. It can be either a small, single piece or several panels joined together. Most of the panel paintings no longer exist because of their organic compositions. Tomb wall painting. Painting was very popular during the classical period. It uses the method frescoes in either tempera or water base, or encaustic or wax. It has a sharp, flatly outlined style of painting, and because it uses water-based materials, very few samples survive. So this is the examples of thumb wall painting. Painting from the Roman era. Most of the paintings in this era were copied or imitated from Hellenic Greek painting. Roman paintings have a wide variety of subjects: animals, everyday life and still life, mythological subjects, portraits, and landscape. So this is the examples of the painting of the Roman era. Mosaic. Mosaic is an art process where an image is created using an assemblage of small pieces of colored glass, stones, or other materials. This technique is used for decorative art or interior decorations. So this is the examples of mosaic. Byzantine painting. The lively styles of paintings which had been invented in Greek and Rome live on in Byzantium, but this time for Christian subjects. So this is the example of Byzantine painting. Next is Romanesque painting. Romanesque painting has a remarkable variety of artistic traditions such as modeling and treatment of faces, paste, and draperies that follow Byzantine convention, while the refreshingly decorative feeling comes from Southern French style. So this is the example of Romanesque painting. Painting from the Gothic era have been confined in the illuminations of manuscript, page, and the painting of frescoes on the walls of church in cosmopolitan style, elegant mannered and sophisticated. So this is the examples of painting from the Gothic era. Roman sculptures. Most Roman sculptures are made of monumental terracotta. They did not attempt to compete with the freestanding Greek works of history or mythology, but rather they produced relief in the great Roman triumphal column with continuous narrative relief around. So this is the examples of Roman sculptures. Byzantine sculptures. The dominant themes in Byzantine sculptures are religious, everyday life scenes, and motifs from nature. Animals were used as symbols, or dove, bear, peafowl, while some had acrostic signs, form of writing in which a message is formed by taking the first letter, symbol, or word of different lines and putting them together that contain a great theological significance. So this is the examples of Byzantine sculptures. Romanesque sculptures. Some of the famous sculptural pieces are reliquaries, altar frontals, crucifix, and devotional image. Small individual works of art were generally made of costly materials for royal and aristocratic patrons. So this is the example of Romanesque sculpture. Gothic sculptures. Gothic sculptures have a greater freedom of style. They no longer lay closely against the wall, but began to project outward. So this is the examples of Gothic sculptures. Three main types of megalite stone. Menhir, a huge stone standing vertically on the ground, usually standing in the middle of the field or arranged in rows. So this is the examples of menhir, megalite stones. Next is dolmens. The word dolmen originated from the expression taol maen, which means stone table. These structures are in form of table consisting of two huge standing stones supporting a horizontal giant stone. So this is the examples of dolmens. Next is Cromlech, a Brythonic word where crom means bent or curved, and lich, which means slab or flagstones. Literally, it is a circle of standing stone. Stonehenge, best preserved megalithic site in Europe. A group of stones arranged in concentric circles with a large external circle of trellis. Greek word meaning three stones. Two internal circles built in similar manner, an altar-shaped stone in the center. There are characteristics of Egyptian architecture. Number 1 has thick sloping walls with few opening for stability. 2. All walls, column and piers are covered with hieroglyphics. 3. Ornamentations were symbolic. Number 4. Temples were aligned with astronomically significant events like solstices, comes from the Latin word sol meaning sun and stitium meaning stoppage, as the sun appears to stand still on the first day of winter. Next is Pyramids of Giza. The pyramids of Giza are the most substantial ancient structures of the world. Khufu or Cheops, whom the Great Pyramid was attributed to Kaffa or Chipren, whom the pyramid next is attributed, and the smallest is attributed to Menkaura or Mycenerinos. So this is the examples of pyramids of Giza. Next is mastaba. It is a type of Egyptian tomb in the form of a flat roof, rectangular structure with outward sloping sides. It was made of mud, bricks, or stones. So this is the examples of mastaba. Next is the Greek architecture. Temples consisted of a central shrine or room in an aisle surrounded by rows of columns. So Doric, Iconic, Corinthians. So this is the examples of Greek architecture. Next is the Partheron, the greatest classical temple, ingeniously engineered to correct an optical illusion. The columns were slightly contorted, swollen at the center and leaning inward to correct what would otherwise have been an impression of deadness and top-heaviness. So this is the examples of the Partheron. Next is a Roman architecture. They built sturdy stone structures both for use and to perpetuate their glory. The emperors erected huge halls and arenas for public games, baths, and procession. So this is the examples of the Roman architecture. Next is a Byzantine architecture. Byzantine it has a lot in common with the early Christian architecture. Mosaic decoration was perfected by the Byzantines, as was the use of clerestory to bring light in from high windows, holy wisdom. So this is the example of Byzantine architecture. Next is the Romanesque architecture. The doorways of Romanesque church are often grand sculpture portals. Wood or metal doors are surrounded by elaborate stone sculptures arranged in zones to fit architectural elements. Gothic architecture, pointed arc which enabled builders to construct much higher ceiling, bolts and stone bolting borne on a network of stone ribs supported by piers and clusters pillars.